All right, quick sound check, and we're going to get going here. Testing, testing. Okay, bit of a delay, but I think we're good to go. Yes, it is 9 o'clock, and we are ready for Breakers Club #1 grand finale. That's right. We have made it 4 weeks, 4 boxes per week. That's 16 boxes. And hopefully tonight is a really fun conclusion to our first Breakers Club of the year. I do plan to do another Breakers Club later on, maybe, let's say, maybe in the summer. I don't think we'll try to do one before then. As I mentioned over on the Discord, I am coaching my son's. He's in minor league or instructional ball, coach pitch, whatever you want to call it. So I know I'll be quite busy over the next month and a half or so with that. So I'm not going to try to schedule another Breakers Club then, but maybe in the summer we can get one in. Good evening, JC. Hello, hello. So with that said, tonight, what do we have on tap? We've got 4 boxes, as I said. We've got 1997 Pacific Prism Invincible. I'm very excited for this box. We've got our second Topps Fanatics Blaster. Still hoping to get one of the buybacks where you get an autographed piece of memorabilia. That'd be pretty sweet. They're fairly rare, but we can hope. We've got classic clippings from Fleer 2004. This one could give us some pretty cool stuff. I don't know a ton about this set, but what I do know is it's quite nice. And then the big, and we'll save this one for last, museum collection from 2022. We should get 4 hits and all kinds of cool stuff possible in there. So that's what we've got on tap tonight. All right, so let's start with the Pacific box, I think, and then we'll go from there. Good evening, Super Gadget. Greetings and salutations to you as well. I hope everyone's having a good evening. I have been running nonstop today, so this will be nice to just relax and open up some cards. All right. Well, this plastic is old enough that it came off kind of shattered. All right, so we're going to start. Whoops, I think someone's still stuck there. We're going to start with the 1997 Pacific Prism. And inside here, we get a whole bunch of packs. Very thin packs, as it were. Let's try to take all those right out. Oops, knock some cards over there. There we go. All right, there's your empty box. And let's jump right in. All right, so this is the final night of Breakers Club. Worth pointing out that I don't know what else is being released in the next couple of months. I would like to do a smaller group break for just a box or two, not a Breakers Club. So if anyone has any suggestions or requests, by all means, let me know, either tonight if you can think of it, or over on the Discord. You can always message me over there as well if you'd rather. But yeah, we ought to come up with something else, I think, before the summer gets here. So here is your first card out of the box. We've got, for the Padres, Tim Worrell. And just so we can see what the backs of these look like, you've got the Spanish and then the English down here. Solid design, I think. And then we have, you only get 3 cards in a pack. So for the White Sox, Tony Castillo. And then our fancy Prism card is Mo Vaughn. I was trying to see if that had a name, and you can see there's a player head, clear acetate that's printed on. I love these. These are cool. So super happy to get that one. And there you go, Super Gadget. Mo Vaughn right off the bat. All right. There are also, I believe, a few inserts and or parallels that we might get. They're quite rare in here. So these are technically the Gems of the Diamond bonus set. And then these are, I guess, technically the base cards, the way that they label on the box. But there are platinum parallels. They're seeded 2 in 37 packs, so we should get at least one in the box. Gate attractions are 1 in 73 packs. Sluggers and hurlers are 1 in 145, so not likely to get those. And sizzling lumber is 1 in 37. So not a lot of inserts in this, but Pacific did rare inserts quite well for the most part. So it'd be cool if we get one. But I think the base set's worth it on its own. So, all right, next pack. We got Mike Maddox for the Red Sox. And then let's get this guy first. Pedro Munoz for the Athletics. And then we've got Jermaine Dye for the Braves. Again, very shiny, as you would expect from a set called Prism. Next pack for the Orioles, Alan Mills. We've got Ozzie Smith. Nice one for the Cardinals. First true superstar. Well, I guess the Mo Vaughn probably counts too. And for the Pirates on the board with an Al Martin. He was the token Pirate in the late 90s, I feel like. All right. Oh, we have a silver Jason Giambi. I don't know if that feels like that's a parallel because the rest have been gold. Does it say? Maybe that counts as a platinum parallel? Is that what we're looking at here? Maybe that's what they're calling platinum. I don't know, but it's Jason Giambi of the A's. And we've got Otis Nixon for the Blue Jays. And apparently that's it. 2 cards in that pack. Wait, hold on. Is there a second card attached here? Nope, it's just extra thick. Nope, that's just the 1 card. So, yep, just 2 cards in that pack. All right. You'd think with only 3 cards in a pack, we wouldn't get shorted one, but it is what it is. Mike Bilecki for the Braves. We have a Mark Leiter for the Expos. And for the Dodgers, Hideo Nomo. That's a nice one. And you get him batting on the backside, which is kind of cool. So that was pretty good. Nice Nomo there. These packs also, actually, they don't. I was going to say they have Pacific points on them, but actually they don't. There was a time when they did Pacific points. All right, for the Dodgers, we've got Tom Prince. For the Mets, Ray Ordonez. Kind of a nice picture. There's a Gwynn sighting there. That's cool. And for the Royals, Jose Offerman. All right, Super Gadget has confirmed that this is what they are calling the Platinum. I guess since they made the regular ones gold colored, they couldn't call this silver, but have it be rare. That wouldn't make sense, so we just call it Platinum instead. It's pretty sharp looking, I'm not going to lie. All right, for the Marlins, Bob Natal. I do not remember that name. For the Astros, Todd Jones. And for the Phillies, Benito Santiago. That guy played forever, it feels like. And for about half of the teams. I should remember that name for when I do the, what's the baseball thing with the 9 boxes? I'm so bad at it. Brian Barber for the Cardinals. For the Reds, Mike Kelly. And for the Astros, Jeff Bagwell. Do like the little acetate cutouts. Next pack. Phillies, Rich Hunter. For the Cubbies, Brian Dorsett. And Jason Giambi for the Athletics. So what do we think of this set? Good choice? Something different? We got Sean Bosky for the Angels. Tony Fernandez, Yankees. And then we might have already seen Edgar Renteria for the Marlins. Good to get some love for the Marlins. I feel like they're a lesser appreciated team these days. But in 97, wasn't that the year the Marlins won the World Series? I think so. Somehow the Marlins have more World Series wins than my Reds in my lifetime, and that's just a sad statement. All right, well, I start on this side this time. So we got Paul Molitor for the Twins, Domingo Cedeno for the White Sox, and for the Red Sox, Rich Garces? Garces? I don't know. Never heard of him either. Super Guy just says it's shiny. It is a shiny set. It is called Prism, after all. Darren Fletcher, Expos. Joe Girardi, Yankees. And our diamond is Roberto Alomar of the Orioles. If I had unlimited money and unlimited storage space, I would put together this set. I think it'd look pretty sweet in a binder. For the Cubbies, Doug Glanville. We've got Amari Telemaco for the Cubs. And for the Angels, Jim Edmonds. We got another Angel, Jack Howell for the Angels. And then Jamie Wright for the Rockies. And Gary Sheffield for the Fish. Next pack, Kevin Young for the Royals. Fernando Valenzuela for the Padres. I actually didn't remember he was a Padre. And Fernando Vina for the Brewers. Getting in on the action now. So obviously, this time Pacific had a pretty strong bend towards players from Spanish-speaking countries because this was, after all, a Spanish first set. We got Dwayne Singleton, and I don't know if you can make that out on the bottom, but this actually has like the crimping from the pack machine. There, you might be able to see it there if you catch it in the light just right. So some people like to collect cards like that, so there you go. We got Angelo Encarnacion for the Pirates, another name I do not remember. And here's a good one, Edgar Martinez for the Mariners. So the base set, which is the thing, the gold shiny prism ones, seem to have the majority of the stars in the set. Mike Jackson, Mariners. We got Tony Pena for the Indians. And Travis Fryman for the Detroit Tigers. Might be the first time I called the Tigers tonight. As Group Ray Coast, I like to see all teams get represented, so that's good. Curtis Laskanik for the Rockies. We got Bill Ripken for the Orioles. Not usually the Ripken people are chasing after. And Vinny Castilla for the Rockies. Still hoping to pull one of the rare inserts. Andy Tomberlin for the Mets. Jay Canizaro, Giants. And Albert Bell of the Indians. Still quite a few packs. Only 3 cards per pack, but there were a lot of packs in the box, at least. Well, I said the stars seem to be in the golds, but then there you go. Here's Barry Bonds right away. Doesn't get much bigger star than that. We've got Robin Jennings for the Cubs. Bonds was a Giant, of course, if I didn't say that. And Mariano Rivera. That's a strong pack for the Yankees. You get Rivera and Bonds out of as 2 of your 3 cards. You can't complain about the pack. Mike Mordecai for the Braves. Dean. Oh, this was another 2-card pack. Dean Palmer for the Rangers. Nobody on the backside of Mr. Mordecai. I don't love that we're getting cheated out cards when there's only 3 to start with. Greg Norton for the White Sox, Jeff Nelson, Yankees, and Carlos Baerga for the New York Mets. Hope everyone's having a good evening. Appreciate those of you able to jump in live with the slightly later start time than normal. Apologies for that. Brett Boone, Reds. Ray Ordonez, again, for the Mets. And Ken Caminiti for the Padres. Charlie Hayes for the Yankees. We've got Pat Borders for the White Sox and F.P. Santangelo for the Expos. He was in a lot of sets around that time and then just disappeared. I feel like he was a popular inclusion for rookie hunters. We got Mark Smith, Orioles. Andres Galarraga for the Rockies, and Wilson Alvarez for the Chicago White Sox. For my Reds, John Smiley. We had David Bell for the Cardinals, and Roberto Kelly for the Minnesota Twins. I feel like I've called the Twins much tonight, so that's nice. We got Paul Spoljaric, another name I do not remember. That was for the Blue Jays. Pedro Munoz for the Athletics, and Jacob Cruz for the Giants. These are definitely shiny cards. When you get them in hand, if nothing else, you will certainly agree that they are shiny. The Prism ones, I mean, not these. Greg Gribick, Marlins. Fausto Cruz, Tigers. And how about a Tony Gwynn? Very nice for the Padres. Who doesn't like Tony Gwynn? Yeah, Chris Peters for Pittsburgh. We got Shad Williams for the Angels and Carlos Garcia for Pittsburgh. Hey, Andy. Good to see you tonight. See Andy jumped in here. JC and Super Gadget and a few others that have been quiet. Oh, we have an insert. Let's do this first, shall we? We got Greg Jeffries of the Phillies. Then we got Steve Traxel of the Cubs. And we have Frank Thomas. First base. I'm not sure which insert set this is. Something lumber. Was there a lumber one? Sizzling lumber, I bet. Yep, that's definitely sizzling lumber. 1 in 37 packs, so less than 1 per box. So we hit something nice. Frank Thomas, White Sox. That's going to Swinko. I don't know if Swinko's in the room tonight, but there you go. I'm going to sleeve this one right away because that is all die cut and super pointy, and I don't want any damage to happen. So let me sleeve that right away. Very carefully. It's a cool die cut card, but it's kind of a pain to get a sleeve over. There we go. Got it. So I like that. Pacific has some of the best inserts in the era. So I'm happy they're fairly rare. They're not easy to pull. I mean, that's less than 1 per pack or 1 per box. So I'm glad we got one. Bill Rifkin, Orioles. Ruben Amaro Jr., Phillies, and Geronimo Baroa of the Athletics. Next up, Andy says, very cool. Yes, I agree. Oh, we have our second platinum, and it's a Padre, Steve Finley. So we got 2 of those. There's Greg Maddux for the Braves and Scott Spezio for Oakland. We're almost to the end of the first box of the night. Well, we have a couple more packs yet. Curtis Goodwin for the Reds. Yeah, Andre Dawson for the Marlins. And how about a nice Derek Jeter for the Yankees. That's going to JC. There you go. Probably one of the best ones you could get in the box as far as the base cards go. I feel like there's quite a clamoring for Derek Jeter cards still. Shane Andrews, Expos. Matt Walbeck, Twins, and Ray Ordonez of the Mets. And we're down to our final 2 packs. And this pack has Donovan Osborne. Oh, and I think we have another insert. So let's flip this over. We got Mark Grudzielanek for the Expos. We had Donovan Osborne for the Cardinals. And for the Mariners, we have Alex Rodriguez. Now, what is this set? Sluggers and Hurlers, I think? Is that right? If that's right, that's seeded 1 in 145 packs. I don't know. I don't have my checklist pulled up, but it's SH7A, so I'm guessing that that's what that is. Although it looks like it pairs with another card, so I could be very wrong about that. Very cool. I'll have to look that up later, or maybe someone, if anyone has the checklist pulled up handy, could let me know now. Would be even more appreciated. All right, final pack. We got Dave Stevens of the Twins. We've got Ed Giovanola for the Braves, and we close out with Slammin' Sammy for the Cubbies. So I would say that this was a success because we were not guaranteed any inserts. We were essentially only guaranteed 1 platinum parallel. These were 2 in 37 packs. I'm thinking that that's what this is. Super Gadget says yes, that it is a slugger and hurler. So those are 1 in 145. And then the sizzling lumbers were 1 in 37. So the only thing we didn't get was a gate attraction, which was 1 in 73. So, and I'm reading all these odds off of the back of the box here. So we can't complain about that. That is a strong start to tonight. And hopefully that means we're going to have a good night of group breaks. All right, let me put these cards away. I think that was a fun start. Yeah, the A-Rod is cool. And I actually want to look at the checklist for this set. Is there one for every team, I wonder? Because if there is, I kind of want to get the Reds, especially if they go side by side and complete the team logo, which is what it looks like is happening here. But the Reds were not very good in the late 90s for the most part. They lost a 1-game playoff to the Mets in 99, I think it was. But otherwise, they pretty much suck. So they aren't included in a lot of insert sets around that time, which is too bad because there was a lot of cool stuff happening. But I should look. All right, let's do the Fanatics next, shall we? So we did the oldest of the boxes. Then we'll jump to the newest. And, of course, I'm going to do the museum collection last. So that's kind of the big prize box. I never get to open boxes like that, so kind of excited to do that. But first, let's do some new stuff. So there's your empty blaster box. So this is essentially just Top Series 1, but it's the Fanatics version. So there's the chance of getting the redemptions for autographed memorabilia, and they have that for every single team. There's some player signed, some item for every team. So it'd be really cool if we got one. All right, but we'll see. Brenton Doyle for the Rockies, Francisco Lindor, Mets, DJ Hers, Washington, Isaac Paredes, Cubbies, Jack Kokonowitz, I don't know him, Angels, Connor Wong, Boston, Luis Gil, Yankees, Brooks Lee, Twins. We got a Zach DeZenzo, 1990 Topps. We got Fernando Tatis Jr., Stars of MLB. We have a Topps logo parallel of the Red Sox. So there you go, Super Gadget. If you don't have the Topps logo parallel, now you do. Very nice. I like those. And George Springer rounds out that pack. Next pack for the Yankees, Anthony Volpe. Pete Crow Armstrong, Cubs. Another Red Sox card, that being a checklist. Spencer Steer, one of the best photos of the set, I think, for Spencer Steer for the Reds. Ryan Jeffers, Twins. Jake Irvin, Washington. Jameson Talon, Cubs. Anthony Rizzo, Yankees. We've got a Luis Castillo rainbow foil. Very nice. Our star of MLB, these are one per pack. Yordan Alvarez for the Astros. We have another logo parallel, Ryan Pepiot for the Rays, and the Rays team card. All right, so we have some information. Super Gadget has looked it up for me, which is much appreciated. There are 24 cards in that Slugger and Hurler set total, and they do come in pairs. So I assume that means if you have the two paired, you get like the complete team logo, which is cool. Adam, good to see you. Good evening. We got Brandon Marsh for the Phillies, Angel Martinez, Cleveland, John Gray, Texas, Orioles team card. We've got one of the multi-team cards there. Cedric Mullins, Orioles, Royce Lewis, Twins, Yoshinobu Yamamoto for the Dodgers. We've got the all-tops team, Juan Soto. Now, if you haven't seen these are actually, they don't look impressive, maybe just this way, but they have this like subtle glow to them. And when you hit the light just right, they're actually pretty cool. They're much more solid design than maybe they look at first. So definitely, if you haven't seen one of these in hand, I think they're quite cool. Our star of MLB is Luis Robert Jr. for the White Sox. And then our MLB or our Topps logo, is Freddie Freeman. Nice one for the Dodgers. And then we finish out with Matt Olson of the Braves. Eugenio Suarez for the Diamondbacks. Freddie Freeman base for the Dodgers. Ryan Pepiot Rays. Vlad Guerrero Jr. for Blue Jays. Another team. And I'll just randomize these amongst the three teams featured. Orlando Arcia Braves. We've got Rays checklist card. Red Sox get Masataka Yoshida. And then behind him is a purple, numbered out of 250, Matt Chapman for the Giants. That's a nice one for San Francisco. That's going to Vosbrink. So I don't know if Vosbrink is in the room tonight, but there you go. And again, that's 181 out of 250 for the Giants. And I'll sleeve that in just a moment. We got Carlos Correa for the Twins as our stars of MLB. And then we've got Eugenio Suarez for the Diamondbacks in the Topps logo parallel. And Bryce Terang for the Brewers. Let me sleeve Mr. Matt Chapman real quick. We'll put him over here. All right. A solid box thus far. We have the Red Sox team card. Zach Neto, Angels. Seth Lugo, Royals. Lars Nootbaar, Cardinals. Christian Yelich, Brewers. Adolis Garcia, that's a nice shot for the Rangers. Tyrone Taylor, Mets. Evan Carter, future star for the Rangers. We got Connor Norby, 1990 insert for the Marlins. It's our second 90 insert. Vlad Guerrero Jr. is our star of MLB. And we have the Orioles team logo, Topps logo parallel. There you go, Super Gadget. You have the Orioles this time around. And Jacob deGrom for the Texas. Okay, Shea Whitcomb for the Astros. Eloy Jimenez, Orioles. Willie Castro, Twins. Chris Bassett, Blue Jays, Phillies team. Lourdes Gurriel Jr., Diamondbacks. Chris Taylor, Dodgers. We have Say Cheese, Marlins checklist card. Ryan O'Hearn for Baltimore. Our star is Corey Seager for the Rangers. For Texas, John Gray is our Topps logo parallel. And we have the Angels team card. 3 more packs. Still hoping, though not expecting, to get one of those buybacks. All right, we got another leaders card. Tyler Stevenson for my Reds. He's hurt, which is unfortunate for Cincinnati. Zach Wheeler, Phillies. Christian Mania, Diamondbacks. Michael Sinai, St. Louis. Kai Bush, White Sox. There's Mike Trout, sighting for the Angels. Trevor Larnach, Twins. Dodger Stadium, first pitch, Juju Watkins. This is Dodger Stadium, so this will go in the Dodgers pile. All right. I guess that can go here. We got James Wood for the Nationals is our star of MLB, and our parallel is Ryan Mountcastle for Baltimore, and Gabriel Moreno for the Diamondbacks rounds out that pack. JC says, torn on the Topps logos. I really like the Fanatics Aquas in prior years. I don't think I've actually seen even what those look like, JC. This is my first year buying any of the Fanatics stuff. Will Brennan, Guardians. Bobby Witt Jr., perhaps my favorite non-Reds player right now, mostly because he's my keeper on my fantasy baseball team for the last few years. Alec Burleson, Cardinals. Jace Jung, Tigers. Davis Schneider, Blue Jays. Another triple card. Oh, we had a surprise hit. Just out of nowhere. Pete Crow Armstrong for the Cubbies. Major League material. Going to Ben G. Ben will be happy with that, I bet. Almost everyone is picking the Cubs to win the NL Central, it seems. So, Rafael Devers for the Red Sox. Our Topps logo is the Marlins team card. And Tyler Glasnow of the Dodgers. So, definitely wasn't expecting a relic. And our final pack begins with Dylan Cease of the Padres. Michael McGreevy, Cardinals. Paul Blackburn, Mets. Tyrell Estrada, Giants. Ian Happ, Cubs. Brandon Nimmo, Mets. Jorge Soler, Braves. Sandy Alcantara, Marlins. We have the Derek Jeter 1990 Topps. Our star is Brooks Lee of the Twins. Our Topps logo is Jonah Heim for Texas. And our final card of this box is Richie Palacios of the Rays. Let me see if I have a sleeve big enough to put. Yes, I do. So we did get a surprise hit. Pete Crow Armstrong of the Cubbies. And then we also, had the Matt Chapman out of 250. So no buyback, not buyback, but no redemption for an autograph bit. But you know what? Not bad. Not bad at all. Okay. So that's 2 boxes down. We've got 2 more to go. And I'm hoping for good stuff out of both of these. So our next box is going to be the classic clippings from Fleer 2004. But let me get some water real quick. And then we'll do the museum collection. All right. So we've got, let me get the wrapping up. So we have 18 packs, 5 cards per pack. And then let me just break that seal there. Okay. And then it does say 1 memorabilia and 1 autograph card per box. And look for special classic clipping signature edition masterpiece autograph cards. And then there's a whole slew of things to get there. The base set, classic clipping debuts, which are serially numbered, rookies serially numbered, parallels, blah, blah, blah. Lots of not lots, but a few inserts, memorabilias, et cetera, and autographs. So all kinds of cool stuff. All right. So good luck, everybody. And it's one of the fancier box openings that we get to do, right? So let's do this, though. Okay. So there's your empty box. It's number 14121, if that means anything. And here are all of our packs. Kind of a monochromatic look going on here, but still classy look. All right, well, let's dig in and see what happens, shall we? Okay, so we start off with a checklist. How exciting. All right, classic clippings look something like this. Jose Vidro of the Expos is our first one, and just to show you the backside, you get a box score. So this was 7-1-03 when they were playing against the New York Mets. And Vidro went 3 for 4, 3 RBIs, 3 runs scored. It was a good day for him. So it's kind of cool to be able to see that. We got Brandon Webb of the Diamondbacks. His was a 9-inning, 7-hit, 1 walk, 2 strikeout game against the Tigers. Jeff Bagwell, Astros. I won't take the time to flip every card over. Kerry Wood, Cubs. And Aubrey Huff of the Rays. So I do like these. I feel like Fleer went the extra step and actually had a box score for each player where they did something, better than average. We got Roger Clemens of the Astros. Tom Glavine, Mets. Sammy Sosa, Cubs. Jose Reyes, Mets. And for the Indians, Jody Garut. Super Gadget says, where do you get these older sets? So, good question. Anywhere and everywhere that I can. I live in the middle of nowhere, so it's all basically online. I don't have any hobby shops near me, so I'm not buying any of these in person. I get a lot of it from eBay, but also Dave and Adams. They're out of New York, so they're close to me, so their shipping is only like 1 day to get to me, which is nice. Sometimes they have older stuff every now and then, so I'll pick up stuff from them. And then, I would say mostly eBay, though, for the older stuff, the 90s, etc. Although it's getting harder and harder to find unopened fun stuff that's unopened from the 90s and early 2000s. But, yeah, that's how I do it. Angel Baroa for the Royals. And Jim Thome, nice one for the Phillies. These are such classy looking cards. I really like these. Jeff Jenkins, Brewers. They also have like a matte finish to them, maybe you'd say. The player has the UV coating, spot UV, and they just have a nice thickness to them. They're not too thick, but they're just quality cards. Really like them. Torrey Hunter, Twins, and Greg Maddux as a Cub. Rounds out that pack. Yes, a very young-looking Pujols, I agree. And a rather old-looking Greg Maddux on that last pack. All right, we got a checklist here. Hank Blaylock for the Rangers. Jason Giambi for the Yankees. Now, that has a foil. Does that mean anything? It looks like the logo's... Well, I guess it's not. I just looked foil, but I guess it's just the spot UV. I don't see numbering or anything on it. So, Jason Giambi, Yankees. Barry Zito, Athletics. Kurt Schilling, Red Sox. And another Yankee, Gary Sheffield. Next box. There's our Pudge sighting for the Tigers. Ivan Rodriguez. Albert Pujols. Really stretching on that one for the Cardinals. Khalil Green, Padres. Pat Burrell, Phillies. And Derek Jeter for the Yankees. Another nice Jeter card. Next pack. Richie Sexson starts us off. He was upside down for the Diamondbacks. We got another Yankee, Hideki Matsui. And then we have a white classic clippings. Dallas McPherson classic clippings. Oh, that's kind of probably a bummer for us. You received a redemption card redeemable for a Dallas McPherson classic clippings MLB autograph card. So, good chance that's not going to be redeemed since, Fleer's not a thing anymore. But we got the redemption. I don't even know who Dallas McPherson played for, so I will have to look this up. It's kind of a bummer because it's a silver version, which I assume is a rare parallel. Todd Helton for the Rockies. And Chipper Jones for the Braves. That is the one downside of older boxes is the redemption possibility. And I found it's very difficult to know if there even are redemptions or what the chances of a redemption are in a lot of the older sets. So and I just hope not to get one usually. All right, looks like we have another hit coming up. We got Rafael Palmeiro. Let's do the base cards first, shall we? We'll do it this way. Lance Berkman for the Astros. Miguel Tejada, Orioles. Another Oriole, Rafael Palmeiro. And we have a triple bat relic of Nomar Garciaparra, Manny Ramirez, and Curt Schilling. Now, that third one didn't seem to fit in with the other two in terms of a bat rack parallel. So Nomar, Manny, and Curt Schilling, they're all of the Red Sox, so I don't have to worry about randomizing this, which I'm very happy about. And Super Gadget is going to be very happy about because we've got number 2 out of 175. 3 pieces of authentic game-used bats used by Garciaparra, Ramirez, and Schilling. That is a cool card. And Super Gadget, there you go. A triple relic of the Red Sox. So we've got 2. We were promised 2 hits, and I guess technically there we have our 2 hits. Let me sleeve this one. Let me not leave that out. Just because. All right. Yeah, that is a cool card. And I'm glad Super Gadget was in the room to see it. And why not get another Red Sox? Here's Pedro, base card. Carlos Beltran, Royals. We have a press clippings. What you talking about? Willis, Dontrelle Willis of the Marlins. One of the inserts. Garrett Anderson, Angels. And Maglio Ordonez, White Sox. I mean, in fairness, does it say? It does say game use, so this probably would have had to have been when they played in the National League. Or I guess it could be a Schilling bat from back when he was with the Phillies, and they just put him on the Red Sox now. Brian Giles, Padres. Mike Piazza, Mets. Miguel Cabrera, Marlins. Alfonso Soriano, Rangers, and Melvin Mora of the Orioles. Got the D train. Roy Halladay, Toronto. There's a nice Ken Griffey Jr. for my Reds collection. I don't think I had that card. Brett Boone, Mariners. Andy Pettitte, Astros, and Jason Kendall for Pittsburgh. The other pirate that you could expect to get in the early 2000s. Mark Pryor, Cubbies. Jason Schmidt, Giants. Ooh, we have a classic clippings, a actual clipping. Mike Schmidt of the Phillies, and this is also serially numbered. This is numbered, let's get it going the right way, 11 out of 750. And we have number 2 out of 25 in the set. Mike Schmidt made his Major League debut at Veterans Stadium in the Phillies' 4-3 loss to the visiting Mets on September 12, 1972. He had his first home run 4 days later. This card contains the box score from Mike Schmidt's debut game. So there you go. I'm not going to see these much anymore because you don't see newspapers much anymore. That's an awesome card for the Phillies, I think. Let's see. The Phillies. That's going to you, JC. So there you go. JC said this is a new set for him, and now you got a really sweet Mike Schmidt out of it. So I'll sleeve that 1 second. Let me just finish off the last 2 cards of the pack. We got Austin Kearns on my Reds and Roy Oswalt for Houston. So the classic clippings box, if I remember right, this was a fairly pricey box. But I like to get some quote-unquote higher-end stuff to go with some of the more base card-centric boxes. Try to have a nice mix for everybody. We got Hank Blaylock for the Rangers. Jason Giambi, Yankees. We have another press clippings. Got to keep up with Jones. Chipper Jones of the Braves. Second one of those. Adam Dunn of my Reds. and Vernon Wells from the Blue Jays. All right. Next pack. Now, this pack feels thicker, but it might just be my imagination. Barry Zito, Oakland. Pudge, Von Rodriguez, Detroit. Well, it was thicker, I guess, because we have another box score. Shingo Takatsu, numbered 43 out of 500 for the White Sox. Shingo Takatsu. White Sox going to Swinko. Can't say I remember that name. We got a nasty looking collision with Mark Teixeira there. And then we have Curt Schilling. Now, I will say this card, I could feel it, is got a bad corner. So that came out of the pack that way. This pack was thicker. I think this card probably shouldn't have been in this pack. So probably got packaged damaged while being packaged. But just so you know, I didn't do it. That's how it came. Curt Schilling of the Red Sox. But I will sleeve Mr. Shingo Takatsu. He pitched 1 inning. Oh, this was not really a great debut. He pitched 1 inning, gave up 2 hits, 2 runs, both earned, 1 walk, 1 strikeout, 1 home run, and had an ERA of 18. So, poor guy. Not really what you want immortalized 500 times. But there you go. I like those clipping cards, though. The concept is pretty sweet. And probably a relatively inexpensive set to make, all things considered. They just had to buy a bunch of old newspapers. Although, I don't know how you track down a lot of old newspapers, but hey, they did it. Rocco Baldelli, Rays. Ichiro, Mariners. William Bergola for my Reds. This must be from the rookie subset because it is serially numbered. 11 out of 150 for Mr. Bergola. I happened to flip it over because it had gold font there. Shannon Stewart, Twins, and Luis Gonzalez of the Diamondbacks. I'll have to go back through that stack and make sure I didn't miss any other. Let me just do that real fast here. I don't think I did, but it's possible. I'm just looking for gold font on the front. I think I got them, but I don't want to miss showing anything if at all possible. Those look fine. I think we're good. Okay, yeah, I don't see anything else. So that was the first one. JC says, that's why Flair went up as buying a bunch of old newspapers, JC. I don't know. I think that Flair got a bad rap. I really enjoy opening most Flair sets from this time period. I think they had some cool ideas. Honestly, I think they were second to Pacific in some of their cool ideas. Now, granted, they didn't always execute everything well. No card company does. But I really like Flair, and this is a great set. I have not opened this set before, but I really enjoy it. Dontrelle Willis, Marlins. Randy Johnson, Diamondbacks. We have another press clippings, A-Rods, a rare talent for the Rangers. Preston Wilson, Rockies, and Carlos Delgado for the Blue Jays. Now, obviously, I wish the hit was not a redemption, but I think we've all come to accept redemptions a long time ago, so it is what it is. Josh Beckett, Marlins. A-Rod, Yankees. Eric Gagne, Dodgers. Scott Pasednik, Brewers. And Manny Ramirez for the Red Sox. Shingo Takatsu was the White Sox closer for 2 years? I feel like I've never heard that guy's name before. And you're telling me he was the closer for 2 years. That's just when you think you know baseball. Hideo Nomo, Dodgers. Troy Glaus, Angels. Vlad Guerrero, also Angels. Scott Rowland for the Cardinals. And Eric Chavez for the Athletics. And we're down to our last pack. All right. We have Andrew Jones of the Braves. Noma for the Red Sox. Sean Green, Dodgers. Frank Thomas, White Sox. And our last card is Juan Pierre of the Marlins. So that's your box of classic clippings. I hope you guys all like this. I think it's pretty nice. I don't really care about these. I mean, it's fine. They fit the theme. They're not anything super exciting. And I actually do actively hate having serially numbered cards as part of the base set when the rest of the set is not. It's a bane of a set collector everywhere. So I don't love that part. Fleer is not the only company that did that. But I do like the box score concept, the classic clippings, if you will. The Mike Schmidt in particular, great. JC is telling me now that Mr. Shingo was second in the AL Rookie of the Year voting to Bobby Crosby. So I obviously don't know anything about baseball. Don't remember that name at all. I think our one hit that actually showed up was worth the price of admission. Nomar, Manny, Kurt Schilling, triple bat relic. And then the Dallas McPherson Super Gadgets just came in with this would be for the Angels. That must be who Dallas played for or was listed as. So I can double check that, but that, assuming that is correct, will be whose pile this will go into. And the Angels are... Where are the Angels on my list? Peach Pits is the Angels. So there we go. All right, well, that's classic clippings. That leaves us with one final box for Breakers Club. And yeah, I definitely saved what I hope is the best for last. Although we've had some pretty good boxes, I'd say, overall. I hope everyone has enjoyed Breakers Club. I will have cards, well, I hope to have cards sorted by the end of the weekend. I am pleased to report that I am caught up right now. Obviously, none of the cards are sorted that we just opened tonight, but everything else is sorted. So those of you that want to request shipping, just DM me over on Discord is usually the easiest way to do that. And then once I have things packed up, I will get back to you with the shipping quote and mail them off. So, and it's fine if you don't want stuff shipped. I'm happy to hold your stack. Like I said, I do plan to do more breaks and hopefully soon. Just got to figure out what else we can do. I'm not quite sure what else is being released, but there's got to be something coming out soon. Usually Donruss comes out around now. I don't know. I'll have to look. Just been real busy lately, so I haven't looked, but I'll get on it. And if anyone has any ideas, let me know because that'd be awesome. All right, so we get the big box is what they call the master box. There's 4 hits. Each mini box is supposed to have 1 hit. So according to the box here, which maybe you can see if I tilt it down, every mini box should have an on-card autograph, an autograph relic, a quad relic, or a regular relic. So we should get 4 hits, 1 per mini box. So there's your empty museum collection box. And now we've got 4 mini boxes. All right. So let's get the old scissors back here. So this is the 2022 museum collection box. Hard to find boxes of this of any year. So I jumped on this one. Still I think the single most expensive box of cards I've ever bought, whether for myself or for a group break. So let's hope that it was worth it. All right. So we open this up. And inside we have 1 single foil pack. There's the empty mini box. And good luck, everybody. And we have a strong start because I can see Joey Votto right there. But let's flip them over. And our first official card is a rookie, Jarren Duran for Boston. And it looks like the hit's there. So let's do, well, just kidding. I was wrong. That's something else. All right, Jarren Duran. Let's not try to skip around. We got Hank Aaron of the Braves. And that's what the back looks like there. And then we have a 2022 Canvas Collection, which is a pretty sweet card. Ronald Acuna Jr. Canvas Collection Reproduction card. Not serially numbered, but that's a sweet card. I do like that. And then here's what the back of that looks like. Okay. And then we've seen the hit, but at least it's a good one. Christian Yelich, auto, 4 out of 125, going to the Milwaukee Brewers. Uncle Ben, who I think usually watches after the fact. Maybe Uncle Ben's here now. I don't know. But we got Christian Yelich auto for the Brewers. I'm sure he'll be happy about that one. Number 4 out of 125. And I'll save that in 1 second. And then, like I said, we had the Joey Votto. I could see his name, when I opened that pack up. So that's a solid start. Yelich, a true star for Milwaukee. So there we go. 1 box down. All right, JC does say McPherson played for the Angels between 2004 and 2006. So there we go. That redemption will be for the Angels. All right, mini box number 2. There's, I don't know if I have to show the empty box because it's just a single foil pack that you can see me pull out, but, try to cover all my bases. All right, good luck, everybody. We have a Freddie Freeman on the bottom, but we'll flip over. Bryce Harper of the Phillies starts us off this time. Then we have Jacob deGrom for the Mets. For the Padres, Fernando Tatis Jr. And then a very cool for the Padres, Blake Snell. But we got their camo uniform bits. That is very unique. And that's going to the Padres. That's going to Swinko. And Swinko, I hope, will be happy with that one. Very cool. And then underneath that was Freddie Freeman. So I don't have to keep holding that card. But let's flip this over. It is numbered 165 out of 299. Signature swatches dual relic auto. Blake Snell. That's a good looking card. That is a thick boy though, so I don't know if I have a super thick sleeve handy. Handy being the key word here. Let me see. This will fit in this one. I think it will. Yeah. I do have one handy. There we go. One last look at that one. Yeah, the auto is a sticker auto, so I do agree that that's disappointing. But I have never seen a relic with the camo there, so at least on that particular card, I'll let it slide. But I agree, for the price that you pay for these boxes, they should all be on card. All right, mini box number 3. Empty box. And we have Nolan Arenado on the bottom, but we'll flip over. And we start with a Pudge sighting, this time as a Marlin. You never know what team Pudge is going to show up for. Behind him, George Kirby, rookie for the Mariners. We have Brandon Marsh, Angels. And numbered out of only 25, Joey Wendell for the Rays. Oh, and the Arenado is a purple parallel, number 91 out of 99 for the Cardinals. So this is going to Cards on Cards, which I'll sleeve in 1 second. But let's go back to our Joey Wendell. This is a meaningful material relic card. Joey Wendell of the Rays, 14 out of 25, and that is a actual patch. That is an actual patch for the Rays. So JC grabbed the Florida teams, and I'd say the Rays paid off. So there you go, my friend. 14 out of 25, and that is another thick card. So I need to find a sleeve for that if I can. And the purple Arenado is nothing to sneeze at. And you know what? Let me just sneeze this Canvas Collection card too while we're here. All right, let me see if I have another big sleeve handy. I do. There we go. Joey Wendell, 14 out of 25. All right. We've got one box left. One mini box left. What are the chances that this holds the biggest hit of all? Well, I can tell you what the chances are. They were 1 in 4. That's what the chances are that the best hit happens to be in this box. All right. Silver pack, empty box. Adam says he saw Joey Wendell take some batting practice at the All-Star game in 2021. Felt like I was in the firing line in the third deck. Yeah, I'm sure I've told this story on, I mean, it must have come up in a group break before, but my claim to fame, is that the right word? I don't know, about batted balls and whatnot is I was in the outfield, right on the outfield wall for batting practice one time. And I believe it was Corey Dickerson, of all people, actually hit a screaming line drive, and I barehanded it. I didn't have a glove. I barehanded it, and the ball hit my hand so hard that you could see this. I'm not lying. You could see the seams of the baseball in my hand for the entire game. So it definitely hurt, and I don't recommend it. Not worth it for a random batting practice ball, but I do have the ball. Anyways, we begin with Frank Robinson of the Orioles. We got Shane Baz for the Rays. Manny Machado for the Padres. And then let's go to our last card, which is Reggie Jackson for the Athletics. And our final hit is a quad relic for the Yankees, Gleyber Torres. Number, I believe that is 86 out of 99. You got 2 jersey bits and 2 bat bits there. And then the serial numbering there. Pretty sure that says 86 out of 99 for the Yankees. Primary pieces quad relic. And so that one is also JC, claiming the Yankees. So JC, you did well with this box, I would say. All right, so let's recap this one real quick. So we had the Joey Wendell out of 25 patch relic with the Gleyber Torres out of 99 quad relic with the Arenado purple parallel out of 99. The Blake Snell auto dual relic. This one was out of 299. And then we had the Christian Yelich auto. Now this auto is on card, it should be pointed out. And that was out of 125. And then we also had the Acuna Canvas Collection. So that is your box of Museum Collection. Nice cards. I think that it's a nice, they're nice cards. Everything's nice about it. I could never afford this for myself, but it was fun to do in Breakers Club. So yeah, thank you. Thank you all for watching. And those of you who watch after the fact, thank you as well. I hope everyone has enjoyed Breakers Club. If you haven't, please subscribe. I'm almost to 200 subscribers, so that's cool. Maybe someday I'll get to the 1,000, and then stuff will actually be seen over on, the YouTube algorithm. But, I'll take anything I can get right now. And yeah, for future group breaks, let me know what you guys want, and I will try to make it happen. I gotta look and see what's coming out soon, and I'll be in touch about that. So stay attuned to that. JC asked, what did the box set me back? I don't know if I have it handy. Hold on. I don't remember what shipping was, but it was about $450, JC. So I don't think we got $450 worth of cards out of it, if I'm being honest. The yellow, none of them were bad, but yeah, I'm not a gambler, so it's not a product for me, but it was fun to open, and it's kind of fun for a group break, I think. So, if I can make it work to have something more exciting that probably most of us don't open, at least most people in the Discord, I don't feel like too many people are showing their museum collection boxes they're ripping for themselves. So hopefully, it gives everyone a chance at something cool. So yeah, that is going to do it for tonight. Thanks everyone for hanging out, and yeah, pay attention to the Discord. I'm going to start looking for the next group break. Don't know what it's going to be yet, but it'll be a 1 or 2 box thing. It won't be a Breakers Club. We won't do another one of those maybe until the summer. So for starters, I don't have any boxes set aside, so I got to start shopping around again. But until then, have a lovely evening, and I'll be talking to you before too long. I'll see you over on the Discord. Excuse me. And yeah, I do plan to continue posting free card giveaways over there. So I know I kind of slacked off in the last week or so. I've been sick, but hopefully I can get that going again, because that's always kind of fun. And with that, I bid you good night. Thanks, everybody. Peace.